Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to go back to Long Beach and talk about the 19th Street Crips. The 19th Street Crips are from the east side of Long Beach. Their hood is between Line and Pacific Coast. The 19th Street Crips are smaller hood compared to hoods like the Insanes and the Rolling 20s, but they're still active and still around. Just like all the other Crip hoods in Long Beach, the 19th Street Crips beef with the Longos, meaning all the Longo sets, from the west, the north, and the east. Just like with all the other hoods using sports apparel to represent their set, the 19th Street Crips use the New Orleans Saints gear to rep. With that being said, let's get into some cases. James and Sonny, they were cashiers at a store in Long Beach. Two men then walked in the store named Chocolate and Junebug. They pulled out their straps and they demanded the money in the register. They came out with 400 funky ass dollars and left the store. James and Sonny called the police and they gave the descriptions of Chocolate and Junebug. Even gave the police surveillance tapes. These fools robbed the store they came to all the time. James even told the police he would even see Chocolate up to 6 times a day at the store. Chocolate was at the store earlier in the same day, wearing the same clothes he did in the robbery. Chocolate was snatched up the next day on 19th Street. James and Sonny was then brought to the block where they identified Chocolate. At trial, Chocolate got melted. They had all the evidence they needed for all the times he walked in the store that day, and even with James and Sonny's testimony. Chocolate was sentenced to 18 years. On May 30th, 2008, around 11:30 p.m., Oscar was a doorman at a bar called the Azteca Bar on Long Beach Boulevard. As he was at the door, a man named Luis pulled up on his bike and pulled out a strap on him. Luis was pump faking though. He put his strap away and said something in Spanish and rode off in the distance. He actually went across the street. Two black men named Isaiah and his brother Darnell just happened to be walking on the corner of 19th Street and Long Beach Boulevard. Luis seen them and rode up on them and put out a strap on them. He started to yell disses to the black race, 20s, the Insanes, and the 19th Streets, basically dissing any hood in the distance. Luis then fired shots at them and then rode off, leaving several witnesses on the street. Luis was shortly caught after on 20th Street, where he was trying to hide behind a tree. Oscar and the woman who seen the whole thing identified Luis as the shooter. Luis was from Mid-City Stoners. Police arrested him and found a 22 on him, and he also tested positive for residue. He even gave the police his address, and they searched his house and found 22 shells. Luis denied everything. Police asked him did he want his jacket. He asked the police which one, the black one. The thing is, he was arrested with no jacket. A jacket was found nearby to where he was arrested, and Oscar identified him wearing the jacket in the shooting, so basically he played himself. Luis would end up being sentenced to 80 years to life. In September of 2012, John lived on Line and 19th Street's turf. He lived next to Jacqueline. They were neighbors for years and even had a little thing for each other in the past. Jacqueline had a dude overplaying some music loud. He was from 19th Street, and his name was Little C-Style. John and Jacqueline got into an argument about the music, but it didn't go any farther than that night. But on September 28th, 2012, John was drunk, tripping. He got into an altercation with Jacqueline. Then next he seen her making a phone call telling someone they needed to handle him. John heard a car pull up, and a person got out the car. Next thing he knew, he was taking shots, being shot over 5 times. At the hospital, John would show the police a picture of Big C-Style, the rapper, and say he was there, but not the shooter. He said Little C-Style was the shooter. A few neighbors will also identify Little C-Style as the shooter. Jacqueline told the police she had nothing to do with the shooting, and that John started the issue. At trial, John refused to testify. He said the only reason why he told on Little C-Style is because the police forced him to. Little C-Style was convicted in 2014, and his earliest possible parole hearing is 2037. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.